Now let's go behind the rock screen.
You're welcome to come on in. We'll bring out the moonshine and start telling lies and calling up the women. But no talk about racing. Come on.
Hey everybody, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, joined by Jakeb Boxell, midget sprint car driver out of Zanesville, Indiana. Jakeb, thanks for jumping on.
Thank you for having me back. I'm really excited to do this again.
I'm glad you came back on, and it just so happens that yesterday you got your hands on a sprint car. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so my buddy Saban actually was driving for him for I think about the last 1 or 2 months now, and I got a call from the crew chief, Colin. His grandpa owns the team and stuff, but Colin and Kyle work on it and kind of run the team now. And he called me, and him and Saban split ways, and asked if I would like to drive the 5 car. So I told him I said I would. It's a really good opportunity, I think. It's actually the first time I've ever really worked for, on the sprint car wise. So being able to drive that and the kind of the aspects and stuff behind that from Ken Baldwin and stuff, helping me out in the micros and just pulling me along and helping me a little bit throughout stuff. So definitely getting the seat and the nameplate on that car would be pretty cool, just in that factor.
Yeah. So how quickly do you think you're going to be on the track with that?
So we were talking about just kind of getting some things buttoned up, get the team around same page and stuff. So I think about 3 weeks. So this upcoming week. So after this upcoming week. So 2 weeks. So hopefully by the end of this month, or I guess it would be July next week. So about the middle of July to hopefully get the first night out in that car.
Nice. Have you started to try to, you're running the USAC Midwest Thunder Midgets. Have you tried to start planning out a sprint car schedule towards the back half of the summer?
Not really. I kind of think it's just as we go type thing. I'll be like, hey, I have a race this weekend. What are you thinking about running the night after this race? Or hey, I'm off this weekend. Would you like to run this weekend? Kind of just work with the flow and stuff. So whatever we have open weekends on, including the national midget stuff, whenever I get in for that. So definitely open weekends. It feels like it's going to be a full weekend for here on until November. So definitely excited to stay in the seat and stay fit and stuff. So to be able to do that's pretty cool.
So the first thing that comes to mind for me is the 4 Crown Nationals. Now I know we're jumping way ahead here, but is there any chance that you do double duty that night?
I don't know, kind of like what you said, we're jumping ahead a couple months, but as a driver and a young kid, that sounds pretty cool to me. I wouldn't say no to that if both car owners asked me that. So I've ran Eldora in the D2 stuff. I've always wanted to run Eldora in the bigger stuff or even the national midget side. So even if it's just one of the two, that would be still really cool to go run Eldora and be a little bit different aspect than the D2 stuff.
So what are you expecting jumping into the sprint car once you get to that point where you guys got it together, you got the team around you, and you're able to get on the track? What do you think is going to transition from the midget that you're running now, and what do you think is going to be something different?
So I've ran a couple sprint car races already. Not much, I think 3 or 4, and there's really not that much of a difference between the midget and stuff. So I think the flow that I think we'll get a flow super quick with the sprint car side. It's just when I'm not gonna say it because I feel like the team, me and Colin and Kyle and everybody else there can click very very soon. So it's just gonna kind of be putting nights together and getting speed right off the gate. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty equally all right from the sprint car stuff. Like Kale Drake does it. He goes back to the midget and the sprint car back and forth and competes in both of them. So it's kind of just in your head what kind of race car you're in right now, and this is how you're gonna have to run that night out.
Definitely. So, we're talking about what you got going on right now, but let's turn the hands of time back just a little bit. You got started in racing. You had a bunch of karting victories and championships, including a restricted micro title. What did you learn in the early stages of your career that's helped you today?
I think definitely being around the right people. Like now in 2025 and in the middle of last year, hooking up with Matt Westfall and learning from him and his dad and stuff. So, being around the right people and learning how to do the right things and be and them introduce you to the right people and help you lead your career. Because I'm only 19, so being able to have Matt Westball and everybody around him help me guide through my career like he's done it through his, and a very successful career for him and stuff. So hopefully being able to follow him in his footsteps. So just kind of keeping it slow and staying humble, so to be able to do the things I'm able to do.
Surrounding yourself with the right people is something that not only is good for you, obviously, as you're pointing out on the racing side, but it's good. It's a good rule to live by. It definitely helps keep things under control, if that makes sense. So in 2025, you've had a good amount of rainouts to deal with and some bad luck. That said, there not too long ago with the USAC Midgets, you had a 7th at Kokomo, and that's kind of started helping you get some better finishes under your belt and some more races. The rain's finally kind of subsided for here. So how big was that 7th for you at Kokomo with the national midgets?
I think it's obviously really huge. Finishing 7th and even getting a top 10 with the USAC national midgets and stuff it's the best of the midgets to me. I think throughout the whole series, the national midget side of series, I think USAC tops it. So getting a top 10 in that and stuff was really huge to me. And the biggest thing to me is being able to take what we do on the national stuff and take it down to the D2 stuff and kind of equate that throughout each other. So definitely being able to get into a faster car, I feel it's been easier for me to take my car and slow down the pace and stuff and hit my marks right. So it's easier to slow down than go faster right off the rip. But I feel like during midget week we did have 3 rainouts of the 6 races, but all 3 races that we were able to get in, we had really good speed at the beginning of the night and throughout the night. But it's just me as the driver getting used to the racecraft and stuff and different procedures that I needed to learn how to do. And like I said, I can't thank Matt and Rex and Fred and everybody on the Four Kings side for giving me an opportunity and helping me learn throughout this whole national midget side.
Yeah, you finished it up with that 7th at Kokomo. Then you followed that up with you went 21st to 2nd at Millstream, and then you had a 2nd place finish at Waynesfield. So 7th and then 2 seconds in a row. That's really getting after.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying about taking some of the knowledge down from the top tier stuff and lowering it down to our team and to help us figure out some certain things and just correlate stuff. Like I said, Matt helps me out with that national stuff, helps me out with the D2 stuff. So just having him in my corner, kind of like what I was saying, surrounding yourself around the right people and stuff. He'll come and help me like I help him when he races his own sprint car, or when he's racing for someone else and in the Silver Crown stuff on the dirt pavement side. So I definitely really appreciated him being there at Millstream because we had a little incident early and he helped us put the car back together to be able to make that hard run through the field.
Yeah, 21st to 2nd, man, that's moving. So then you go to Atomic, and I think you had some engine issues there, but you still wrapped up a challenge that the USAC Midwest Thunder Midgets put together, a Speed Week challenge. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, kind of. So we ended up hurting an engine after the race at Waynesfield. We blew a head gasket, and we thought we had it fixed on the orange car, which was my main car. And we just pushed off the night of and had problems with it. So we hurried up and pulled the backup car out of the corner, which was race ready, and just switched a couple things around, put the other shocks and stuff, got it in the trailer. After we did fire it off, and it seemed fine. Got there and. Uh, we thought it was a wiring problem at first in hot laps, but since it was in the corner, we didn't know, and it just didn't have any fuel in it. So that was our problem there. So we probably would have caught it earlier in the night. And then come heat race time, it just had a really bad mist to it, and found out that we think we broke an oil ring on cylinder 1, so all the fuel and stuff started getting in the oil. So we just decided to save it and stuff. Obviously, we couldn't race with it like that, so saved it as we could, and hopefully it's not as bad when we start tearing it apart more.
So you're signed up for the BC 39. That's not that far off. What you race, you're racing night in, night out for the most part here recently. The BC 39, it's a special race. and it's on a dirt track inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What do you think about that?
Obviously, the event itself is really cool and stuff, but you don't want to really get the idea too big in your head about the whole deal. But definitely, a kid from being from Indiana and racing at the speedway, even on on the dirt track and stuff, is a really cool thing, and I'm really excited for the opportunity that these guys are giving me. So definitely going to try to put some good runs together for my guys, and hopefully me and KT can perform and make the A mains both night.
That's just awesome. You got a lot of stuff going on this season. A lot of good things happening for you, and like you said, you got good folks around you that are helping you out and helping you get through that. So my next question is kind of looking back at your midget career to this point, or even the 3 times that you were in the sprint car. Is there a race that you wish you could run again because you didn't feel the outcome showed how well you ran?
I think any driver will say yes, to be honest. And there's probably about a handful of races you could take back. I mean, it all starts like at my last recent race was Kokomo. I started on the pole and I got a little heated and jumped the start there. So if I would have been able to start from the pole and seen the racetrack from a clear view without the dirty air and stuff and figure out what came out first, could have been a different scenario there. Back at Millstream and stuff, if I didn't get caught up with Weigel and started up front, and same thing with Waynesfield, if I didn't get such a bad redraw. It's all about starting position, and you go back in your head and stuff overnight and sit down and really think about what you could have done. So I think every race you could take it back and want to try again. So even the races you win, you can always improve yourself or your car. So I think there's always improvements for driver and car, and just I think there's every race you want to take back and try to be a little bit better.
Great answer. So, without giving away any of your secrets, I had the thought, do you keep notes? Like you go to a track, you race a track, do you keep notes either about how the night went or something you took away that you're like, okay, I need to make sure that when I come back here, I do A, B, C. Do you do anything like that?
I do, and that's one thing that I have learned about working on a national level team is the notes you write down every night from, I mean, this time you unload the trailer to the time you load up the trailer and everything in between. So I've started doing that myself on my family car, and I truly think it is really good because I did it last year, and we're going back to racetracks when we finally have a notebook and being well, like Waynesfield and stuff. Having one sheet of notebook, maybe 2 slides of it definitely helps in nothing. Millstream was kind of a cat in the hat. We ran the little track and we ran the big track last time. So I mean that's a new page in the notebook. So when we go back there later in the year, whatever we have, if we run the small track or the big track, we have something there to end up on for gear wise, setup and stuff. So it's really nice to go back and have something there to look at.
I like that you brought up Millstream and the inside and the outside track, and I know there's been a lot of chatter about that. Do you feel one way or the other with, I think it's pretty cool, honestly, that they have the inside and the outside track. I know some people have talked that they feel like the inside track's kind of hampering the outside track. Belleville, they've got something kind of similar. So how do you feel about Millstream with those 2 tracks? And when you run one track or the other, is there obviously the size difference, but is there something significantly different about running the outside track versus the inside track there?
Not to me, really. I think it's all about everyone's on the same racing surface. So it's just about how well you have your car prepared for one or the other. It kind of stinks because last time we were there, we finished second on the big track, and last time we were there on the small track, we finished second on the small track. So I think we're really good on either or, and hopefully next time, whatever one it is, we're able to finish just one spot better.
So do you have a favorite track as a driver, and do you have a favorite as a fan?
As a fan, I think like the one race I look forward to every year is the Four Crown. I don't know if that counts as the track, but that event and track is definitely the top of my list. And probably the favorite track that I've raced at has probably been it probably has been Kokomo. We had good runs there, and just it being in Kokomo and stuff, and all the stories that place holds. So that's probably my favorite track to race at.
Very cool, very cool. So like we kind of touched on, you've got a lot going on. You run the midget, now you're hopping in the sprint car here soon. Where do you see your sprint car or your dirt racing or your racing career in general? What is the trajectory for Jakeb Boxell? Where do you feel like that's heading?
I think it's all about the seat time and stuff. I haven't really ran a sprint car that often. I'm just now getting a lot of races in a national midget to figure out how I feel there and stuff. So I think it's all about how it comes in time. I'm still young, so I have a lot to learn still. I really enjoy doing the midget stuff a lot, but I haven't ran a sprint car a lot to figure out the main difference there. I like the way the midget program runs compared to and running on the national level compared to like a local Saturday night race, in the sprint car that would be. And so I think they both would have their positives and both have their negatives. So I think it just comes as time, and I hope to figure it out soon.
So, we talked about you running with the USAC Midwest Thunder Midgets. You're going to be doing the BC 39. Some sprint car races will be coming up on your schedule as well. Is there anything aside from that, anything else that you have kind of marked down? Like, I want to make sure I hit this race. Is there anything like that, or is it just kind of you play it week by week?
Not really. It's kind of week by week, like you kind of just said there. It's looking at the calendar and looking at a bunch of different racetrack calendars and seeing what lines up, So um, we're never opposed in going and taking our D2 car and go run Badger and stuff in Illinois if it just makes sense compared to driving or not even racing on a Saturday and just driving 4 hours to Illinois to race. So I think it's a big thing of just getting seat time. So kind of however the weekend comes.
Is any chance, any conversation, again, this is a little bit out, but I know guys are prepping for it. Is there any Chili Bowl talk going on?
There's a little bit of Chili Bowl talk going, so I'm not sure what's said or what's not said. So, but there has been some. So, hopefully sooner than later, we'll know an answer to that and be able to release that.
Nice. I'm kind of kicking around going myself, so it'd be awesome to be able to see you there and see you racing. So, Jakeb, we're running down to the end of this, and before I let you go, you're a driver, so we got to do the lightning round questions. I've got 10 questions for you. Try to give me answers as quickly as you can. Sometimes you might not have an answer. That's okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Question 1, celebrity crush.
So I'm not really good with names, but I mean I could probably describe it to you.
All right.
It's one of the earlier Bumblebee movies, and the guy that drives the Bumblebee car, his girlfriend.
Is it
She's been in.
Megan Fox?
Yeah, I think it's Megan Fox. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. Favorite cartoon?
Cartoon. I don't know. Like
Could
a
even
favorite,
be when you were younger.
like cartoon movies and stuff work.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Probably Cars.
Cars. Okay.
Any of the Cars.
All right. This one, some guys have an answer, some guys don't. Do you have a favorite pro wrestler?
No, I don't know. I mean, a couple off the top of my head, probably Mike Tyson. I don't know. Probably Mike Tyson. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
Do you have a favorite song? A song that you listen to just on the regular?
A song that I'd probably never skip on my playlist would be "Back Home Again in Indiana." That's
Nice.
probably one of my favorite songs.
Nice. Do you have a favorite movie?
Probably any movie with Adam Sandler, but specifically Grown Ups 2.
Okay. All right. Again, here's a question where some guys have an answer, some guys don't, and when I ask the question, you'll know why, because most of the time you guys are racing. But do you have a favorite vacation spot?
So I joke around with this with Matt and his dad all the time. We work in the shop Monday through Friday, and I tell him our vacation's Saturday night at the racetrack. So I think being at the racetrack's our vacation. So that's what I'll say for that.
Great answer, though. I mean, it's the truth. I saw somebody this past weekend and asked me how I was doing, and I said, I'm at the racetrack. You can't be bad at the racetrack.
That's right.
Something very few people know about you.
See what cool. Matt's in the background, and he says I sing like a girl, so I guess I sing like a girl.
I've had a couple guys actually come on and tell me that they were in the show choir in high school. So
maybe I should take some lessons.
If you could own one car, so you get home, you hit the garage door opener, and there's a car in the garage, what is that car?
It would probably be a specific year 2016 Nissan GTR.
Okay.
My neighbor had one, and when I was about 9, he took me on a ride with it, and I think I've been in love with one ever since.
Okay. Now, the follow-up question: is it a certain color?
Maroon.
Maroon. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Do you have a go-to meal?
Ooh, go-to meal. Ham sandwich is probably, I would be a ham sandwich. You can never go wrong with one, though.
Oh, I mean, if
It's
that's
easy.
it, then that's it. If that's your meal, that's your meal. All right. Last question I got for you. Funniest story you can share from the track, the shop, or on the road to one or both.
Funniest story. I don't know. There's a lot of funny stories.
Anything sticks out to you?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Yeah. It gets guys sometimes, but there's
Well, when you hang
there's
out with
always
funny
something.
guys all the time, you can't. There's always just it's funny every day. I don't know one off the top of my head.
All right. That's all good. So when we get ready to wrap this up, Jacob, where can everybody follow you on social media? Do you have any merchandise available and sponsors that you would like to thank?
So my Facebook is Jakeb Boxell, and then my Twitter, Instagram is J_Boxel44. And then I do have merchandise. I try to take it with me every weekend. And I think we're working on getting some more for this year. It'll be later in the year until we get them, but I think we're working on getting some of them. My sponsors is MW Fabricating, Bordner Welding, Spike Chassis, Smith Titanium, Simpson Race Products. Let's see what else we got here. Factory Cane, my grandpa, my grandma, my dad, and Bradley. Those are all my crew guys, my family that helps me get there every weekend and week out. And then Four Kings Racing, and the last one, Indy Racing Images gets me all my photos and stuff, and gives me the photos for the t-shirts. So yeah, definitely a big thank you to Matt, Rex, Fred, Phil, for giving me all this opportunity that I've been getting this year. So without them and everybody at Four Kings Racing helping me out on my car and the national car, nothing probably would be possible that I've been able to do this year. So definitely grateful for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is, sometimes there's things that get repeated every time I talk to folks, and like you touched on here, the community and how guys help each other out. It's just something that makes dirt racing special.
I definitely agree. Everybody goes to the racetrack, and you everybody there's your friend. So, you get to go there, like I said, on your vacation on Saturday night and see all your people and hang out, and then go home and get ready to do it again the next weekend. So, it's definitely a lifestyle, and it's never ending. So, definitely happy to be able to go there every weekend and do it and live the dream.
Well, Jacob, we're looking forward to seeing you race more in that midget. The BC39 is coming up. You're going to be hopping in the sprint car. I'm sure we'll be putting on a show there. We'll be looking forward to your updated schedule that I'm sure will be coming up soon. Jakeb Boxell, midget sprint car driver from Zanesville, Indiana. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, and we hope to see you at the track.